Hi students, I am Sasikala S, working as an assistant professor in Department of Food Process Engineering, SRM University, Chennai. I welcome you to this lecture on coating for fruits and vegetables, meat and poultry products. Edible films and coatings like wax on fruits and vegetables have been used for the prevention of loss of moisture content and also to create a shiny fruit surface for commercial purposes. The film is differentiated from a coating that it is a standalone wrapping material, whereas the coating is applied and formed directly on the food surface itself. During time consuming steps involved in handling, storage and transportation, products start to deteriorate, dehydrate and lose appearance, flavor and the nutritional value. If there is no special protection provided, damage can occur within hours or days and this damage is not immediately visible. Objective of this lecture is that to understand the definition of edible films and coatings and its application. Identify different types of edible coating that are used for fruits and vegetables and meat and poultry products. Let us start with the definition of edible films and coatings. It is defined as any type of material that is used for enrobing various foods for extending the shelf life of the product that may be consumed together with food with or without removal is considered as edible film or coating. It provides fortification of natural layers to prevent moisture losses and also selectively allowing for controlled exchange of important gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide and ethylene, which are involved in the respiration processes. A film or coating can thus provide surface sterility and prevent loss of other important components. Generally, the thickness of film should be less than 0.3 millimeter. Now, we will move to the first part of this session, edible films and coatings for fruits and vegetables. Consumers nowadays have higher expectations of food to be more nutritious and safe to eat, with wider variety available and longer shelf life. In the case of fruits and vegetables, maintaining high quality food for a long period of time is difficult, since they are composed of living tissue which undergoes major changes in the chemical and physical states due to biochemical processes. Therefore, edible films and coatings are an alternative for preservation of intact and fresh cut fruits and vegetables. Such films can also create semi-permeable barriers to gases and water vapor, maintaining quality of the product. Edible films and coatings have also been studied as potential carriers of additives to help preserve or even improve quality of produce. Factors considered when developing a film or coating are properties of coating solution on product, shelf life of coating solution on its products, interaction of coating with the product, storage conditions of the coated product. Some other factors include importance of color, thickness and flavor of coating, as these parameters can alter final quality of the coated product. Some of the additives are also incorporated into edible films and coatings for fruits and vegetables, which will be used as anti-browning components, antimicrobial agents, texture enhancers, nutrients, probiotics, flavors and colorants. How the edible films and coatings are preserving fruits and vegetables, we will discuss about this one by one. Edible films and coatings are preventing water loss in fruits and vegetables. Edible films decreases water vapor transmission rate by forming barrier on its surface. This prevents texture decay and other metabolic alterations that can lead to accelerated rate of senescence. The barrier property depends on external conditions like characteristics of commodity, temperature and relative humidity, characteristics of the film. In case of minimally processed, there is very high water activity present at the surface that makes it difficult to develop a coating that can delay water loss, as capacity of the films to work as barriers to water vapor decreases as the water activity increases in the product. Edible films and coatings are improving the texture of fruits and vegetables. When coating or film is applied to a product, A modified atmosphere is developed by reducing of internal oxygen and increasing of carbon dioxide in the product will delay softening. Edible coatings can also preserve the texture of fruits and vegetables by acting as partial barrier to the water and serves as texture enhancers. The texture is preserved when cut apples are coated with alginate films containing calcium chloride. Edible films and coatings are controlling the respiration of fruits and vegetables. Edible films can reduce respiration and therefore increase shelf life of the product. In selecting a coating, many factors are to be considered to prevent extremely low oxygen concentration inside the product. Low oxygen concentration can lead to anaerobic respiration, which can result in deterioration of the product due to production of the off flavor and also the accelerated sensonance. Edible films and coatings are controlling the production of ethylene in fruits and vegetables. The edible coating will produce a modified atmosphere inside the fruit, reducing level of internal oxygen. If oxygen concentration inside the product drops below 8%, then there will be a decrease in ethylene production and the product's quality will be increased. Edible films and coatings are maintaining the color of the fruits and vegetables. Color is one of the most important attributes of fruits and vegetables. For some minimally processed fruits and vegetables, browning is a major problem that can be controlled by usage of films or coatings that carries anti-browning agents. The most common antioxidant used is ascorbic acid. Some other compounds have been used as cytosine, calcium chloride and citric acid. Carnauba wax coat gives a natural and non-coated appearance to apples, whereas Carnauba or shellac coating will give whitish color to apple. Effect of edible films and coatings on flavor of the fruits and vegetables. Consumers may buy the product based on its appearance when first purchased, but if the flavor is not acceptable by them, then they will avoid buying the product the second time. Higher production of the hexanol is observed in apples coated with the alginate linoleic acid. Edible films and coatings to prevent microbial contamination. In case of minimally processed technique where skin is being eliminated, microorganisms grow on the surface of the fruit. Incorporating antimicrobial compounds into edible films will preserve the quality of the fresh cut fruits and vegetables. Retention of antimicrobial on coated produce surface depends on coating attributes and commodity type and also storage conditions like temperature and duration. Potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate, benzoic acid, sorbic acid and propionic acid are used commonly as antimicrobials. Other natural antimicrobials such as lemongrass, oregano oil and vanillin are also used. Edible films and coatings can affect nutritional quality of the fruits and vegetables. On one hand, they can be used as carriers of nutrients. On the other hand, they can produce abiotic stress which could modify metabolism of the commodity, affecting production of nutrients. Some work has determined effects of coatings on nutritional quality and on phenolic and other phytochemicals. Vitamin E and calcium are used along with cytosine. Next, we will see about composition of edible films and coatings. Edible films and coatings are mainly composed of hydrocolloids, which consist of either polysaccharides or the proteins or hydrophobic compounds like lipids. Edible films are also composed of a mixture of hydrocolloids and the hydrophobic compounds. We will discuss about the different sources of edible films and coatings one by one. First component is carbohydrates. Cytosine is the commonly used component for preparing edible films and coatings. The compound cytosine comes from marine invertebrates and is also a derivative of chitin. It produces transparent films. Cytosine is not water soluble, therefore a coating solution comprised of a weak organic acid should be used. The principle is that the positively charged cytosine molecules interact with the negatively charged microbial cells membranes, causing a change in the microbial cell permeability that can lead to the leakage of cell constituents. Cytosine films are coatings increases shelf life and preserve the quality by decreasing respiration rates, inhibiting the microbial development and also delays ripening. Cytosine coating used on grapes control the incidence of many microorganisms. Cytosine coatings containing oleic acid have good water retention properties on the coated strawberries. Cytosine has been approved for usage as food additive in Japan and Korea. Next carbohydrate component is starch. Starch is an abundant and inexpensive polysaccharide obtained from cereals and legumes. Films formed with starch are brittle and have poor mechanical properties. Therefore, it is necessary to blend starch with other compounds. The proportion of amylose and amylopectin within starch affects film forming properties. Since starch films are hydrophilic, their properties will depend on relative humidity. Starch is not used for minimally processed high water activity products. With starch, solution is coated on apples and absorb high gloss at the beginning of the storage and decrease in gloss during storage. Though firmness, internal oxidation and the carbon dioxide concentrations had values similar to shellac coated apple. Next is cellulose. It is the most abundant on earth and is very inexpensive, but it is difficult to use as coating because of the water insolubility and the high associated crystalline structure. However, some cellulose derivatives produced commercially like methyl cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose, hydroxyl propyl cellulose and hydroxyl propyl methyl cellulose are used due to their linear structure. The last carbohydrate component we are going to discuss is alginate. Alginate, the sodium salt of alginic acid, it is isolated from the brown seaweed. These form strong, translucent, glossy films. Compared to CMC, gelatin, sodium alginate have lower water vapor pressure, oxidation permeability and also elongation percentage and highest tensile strength. Sodium alginate films are soluble in acid, water and alkali. These films are not effective for coating minimally processed fruits and vegetables. So, incorporation of calcium cations is done to prolong shelf life of fresh cut gala apples without causing undesirable anaerobic respirations. These coatings minimized weight loss and enzymatic browning and preserve firmness during storage. The next source of material for preparing edible films and coatings is proteins. Proteins can form edible films due to their ability to side chains to form intermolecular crosslinks. Property of these films depends on the nature of this linkage. In general, these films are considered to have good gas barrier properties, though their water barrier properties are poor since it depends on the relative humidity of the environment and water activity of the food. Zine coatings are the first type of protein based edible films and coatings. Zine is the protein composed with corn endosperm and it is soluble in aqueous alcohol. Zine films have a strong yellow color. Zine coatings when applied to tomatoes delays color change, weight loss and softening without ethanol production. The coatings containing vegetable oils, citric acid and the antioxidants are used to prevent rancidity of the nuts and inhibit moisture transfer from fruit pieces in the dry mixes. A zine coating becomes white in color on contact with the water depending on the concentration of the coat. Gluten and soy proteins are also being used for preparing edible films and coatings. Gluten is the main storage protein in wheat and corn. Gluten films have very good oxidation and carbon dioxide barrier properties but have relatively high water vapor pressure. Wheat gluten is used to preserve quality of fruits and vegetables. Peanuts coated with a composite coating of soy protein isolate and the wheat gluten prevents fat deterioration. Soy protein films are similar to gluten films in mechanical properties. Whey is also used for preparing edible films and coatings. Milk proteins contain almost 20% of whey protein, of which beta lactoglobulin is the main protein component. Whey protein is a water soluble protein. These produce a translucent and flexible film with excellent oxidation and aroma barrier properties at low relative humidity and poor moisture barrier. As relative humidity decreases, resistance of the coating to gas transfer increases. These are effective in reducing enzymatic browning reaction of the golden delicious apple slices. Lipids are also used as a base materials for preparing edible films and coatings. Lipid coatings have good moisture barrier properties since lipids have very low affinity for water. Carnauba and Cellulose wax are most commonly used types for the edible coatings. Carnauba is natural plant wax. It is relatively permeable to the gases and it is an microemulsion form, quite shiny. The primary problems are its loss of glass during storage and relatively high gas permeability which does not delay ripening. This has an excellent barrier to water vapor and which when combined with shellac, moderate permeability of gases and low permeability to water vapor is achieved. Shellac and Carnauba wax are used commercially a coating for apples and citrus fruits to improve appearance, prevent water loss and maintain quality through delayed ripening. Unfortunately, both materials do not currently have the GRAS status. Beeswax is also used as edible coatings. Beeswax can be used as a composite film. When beeswax added to pea starch films decrease in water vapor pressure and an increase in oxygen permeability with beeswax concentration higher than 30% is found. Beeswax pea starch films are homogeneous and transparent. These are used in composite coatings, preserve intact fruits such as plums and also minimally processed fruits. Now, we will see about other films and coatings. Other compounds are also used to form coatings for fruits and vegetables such as pullulan, aloe vera, cactus mucilage and fruit puree. Aloe vera coatings are studied for their ability to preserve quality of the cherries and also grapes. Aloe vera coating preserves texture and color and decreased water loss in the cherries. Alginate apple puree was used as a coating to preserve the quality of apple slices. Let us see the next part of this session. Edible films and coatings for meat and poultry. Collagen films and sausage casings are the most commercial application of edible films in meat products. Cut meats were coated in fats to reduce the moisture loss. Carnauba wax, beeswax are used to coat frozen meat to increase its shelf life. Acylated acyl glycerol containing chlorotetralacylane, acylated mono and diacyl glycerol and mixtures of mono, di and triacyl glycerols in alcohol coatings reduces off flavors and moisture loss and maintain color and prevent freezer burn in meat products. Application of paraffinic acid, mono, di and triacyl glycerol with or without carboxylic acid shows improvement in meat quality and storage life. First, we will look about protein based films and coatings for meat and poultry. Methyl cellulose is added to provide additional strength to the casing and to reduce its disintegration during cooking. The collagen coated sausage is then immersed in brine bath to further improving the set of collagen casing. Smoking and drying of sausages is done as subsequent steps allow further interactions between the collagen fibers and meat protein. Collagen films reduce shrinkage loss and increases juiciness in these netted products. The wheat gluten and soy protein coatings are effective as polyvinyl chloride films in reducing moisture loss. When gluten coatings are also effective in reducing lipid oxidation. Now, we will discuss about lipid films and coatings for meat and poultry. Lipids includes waxes, acyl glycerol as well as fatty acids and derivative as edible coating. Lipids are hydrophobicity and tightly packed crystalline structure are good barriers to gas and moisture migration. Their effectiveness depends on lipid type, polarity, chemical structure, chemical arrangement and physical stage and on its interaction with other components. It lacks structural integrity and do not adhere well to the hydrophilic surfaces. Lipids added with protein and polysaccharides in production of composite films. They also serve as release agents or lubricants for preventing from sticking of coated foods together or from sticking to the other surfaces like packaging materials. The last type of edible films and coatings materials for meat and poultry are polysaccharides. Starch, pectin, dextrin, cytosine and alginates are used in polysaccharide films and coatings. They are used to extend shelf life of meat and poultry products by retarding oxidative rancidity, dehydration and surface browning. The ability of the polysaccharides to form thermally induced gelatinous coating made them desirable for reducing oil absorption during frying. Alginates coated with calcium chloride reduces moisture loss. They also provided improved texture, color, juiciness and odor in the meat. However, calcium chloride contributed a bitter taste. Calcium pectinate gel coatings reduces shrinkage and bacterial growth of beef back. Let me summarize the points so far discussed in the given lecture. Edible coating and edible film is defined as any type of material that is used for enrobing various foods for extending the shelf life of the product that may be consumed together with food or without removal is considered an edible film or coating. A film or coating provides surface sterility and prevent the loss of other important components. Generally, the thickness can be less than 0.3 mm. Edible films and coatings are mainly composed of hydrocolloids, which consist of polysaccharides, proteins and hydrophobic components. Protein films have good gas barrier properties. Coatings containing lipids are generally having good moisture barrier properties since lipids have low affinity for water. Collagen films and sausage casings are commercially used in edible films of meat products. Happy learning with you. Thank you.